Good morning. Today is July 14th, 2023. 75 years ago today, a little-known mayor of Minneapolis strode to the podium of the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia and gave what is commonly regarded as one of the greatest speeches ever given at a political convention. The man's name was Humphrey. Now, many of you don't know who he is. He died 45 years ago. If you know me, as many of you do, you know that I have a passion for this man. And the reason for that is because he was considered, in fact, voted by his contemporaries at the time as the greatest legislator of the 20th century. But what really marked him was his leadership of civil rights. When he gave that speech, civil rights speech in 1948, there was a walkout of the Southern representatives because he said it is time for the Democratic Party to walk out of the dark shadow of states' rights into the bright sunshine of human rights. And that's the way he acted and operated for the rest of his life, leading the major battles for civil rights, not only the Civil Rights Act of 1964, but the Voting Rights Bill the next year. These cornerstones of civil rights. I was drawn to him as a young boy because of his leadership. And then I maintained a relationship with him for the rest of his life. It was strained at times. Why? Because of the Vietnam War. When Humphrey ran for president in 1968, a decent man running against Richard Nixon, he lost because of the unpopularity of that war. That made him a tragic figure because his decency was embedded in his advocacy for an unpopular war. He almost made it, and history would have changed in this country. I wrote the novel Humphrey and Me, and here I am to tell you about it, because I saw values in this human being that are sorely needed in this country, but also inspiring to young people. And it traces the arc of the pathway that's so common to many of us: inspiration, disappointment with our heroes, and then ultimately redemption in adulthood, given our development of empathy and compassion. My story, Humphrey and Me, traces that development. It talks about the journey to maturity, our need for heroes, and how when we follow heroes, we learn to be heroes to others. The book is coming out in 2 months, September 19th of this year, and will be available online and, of course, in selected bookstores. And I'm sure you'll be moved by it, just as I have been moved by telling this story. I hope you'll pre-order the book and tell your friends about it, and also reach out to me to talk about it. I'll be happy to do that. So remember, Humphrey and Me, September 19th of this year. You can pre-order it now from any of the online services, and I look forward to hearing from you about it. Thank you.